As one end draws near, a new dawn looms on the horizon. 11th ranked Kentucky takes the floor, eyeing a 13-1 start with SEC play just around the corner. Though their final test of non-con comes from a Hofstra squad seeking an identity. And we say welcome to historic Memorial Coliseum alongside Christy Thomas. I'm Noah Frary for this final game of 2025. Kentucky's got SEC play looming, but first a test against Hofstra. What makes this so important?
You got to have it. When you've had a couple of days off over the holidays, you got to get that blood pumping, got to get your legs under you. This will be a great game to be able to do that and see if your offense and defense are clicking on all cylinders, especially offense, because Kentucky's been pretty good there.
They have been, particularly from downtown. Kentucky has been stroking it from deep lately.
You are exactly right. Top 25 in three-point shooting, already set another school record. Three-point shooting, a little bit of an unknown coming into this season, but they have been a pleasant surprise. Biggest thing, got to be reliable and consistent as a deep threat to extend the opponent's defense and force them to defend beyond the arc. All that does is give Clara Strack room to work in the paint.
Through 13 games, more makes this year, more per game, slightly lower percentage than a year ago. Meanwhile, for Hofstra, making the trip down from Long Island, had some travel difficulties yesterday, but a homecoming for Danielle Santos Atkinson, who was a former assistant coach on this Kentucky staff during one of their most successful eras.
And of course, a lot of things look different in the beautiful historic Memorial Coliseum. She says the renovations are fantastic, but this could be a tough afternoon. Her Hofstra team has really struggled with injuries and sickness this year, but even though they faced their fair share of adversity, they don't quit. She says they're a team that's still figuring a lot of things out, but they understand this season is a process.
Meanwhile, Kenny Brooks, 23-2 in non-con play in 2 years as a head coach at Kentucky, hoping that there is a 24th win 2 hours from now. It will be Clara Strack to tip in the middle as we get this final non-conference game and final game of 2025 here in Lexington underway. It is Hofstra who wins the opening tip, a team, as their coach told us earlier today, still searching for an identity. They've dealt with so many injuries early on this season. Alarise Gooden got inside, but Kentucky takes it away. This Kentucky team rolling right now, 12-1 as Hassett steps into the three, picking up right where they left off pre-Christmas.
Makes us look pretty smart, doesn't it, Noah? Talking about three-point shooting as we come in, but Amelia Hassett struggled a little bit early on in the season, but really starting to find her stroke. Nothing a three-point shooter loves more than to just be able to step right into a shot they want.
Emma Von Essen out of the starting lineup today, but Chloe Sterling continues to run the show at point. She takes the long two and connects right there. Missed the early part of the season, rehabbing an ACL injury that she had at the end of last season, back fully healthy and making a big difference.
If she can start to knock down shots like that, she's going to really force Kentucky's defense to make some big-time decisions here.
Clara Strack gets into the post. Strack pulls, hits over Magolioa. Hofstra searching for a quick answer here. Michaela Carter got the start today in place of Emma Von Essen, who has made 95 career starts over the last 4 seasons. Downhill Gooden, nice touch off the glass for 2.
So patient by Gooden. You see her working the screen both directions and really trying to work her defender off of it. Such a heads-up play there by her to really force Toni Morgan to get caught up.
Speaking of Toni Morgan playing some of her best basketball, draws the foul there on Alarise Gooden, the senior from Canada. Kentucky is a bit shorthanded today once again, without Tiani Key for a second consecutive game, listed still as day-to-day, dealing with a lingering injury that she picked up in the fall. Kentucky hoping to get her back quickly.
Certainly makes this starting five look very different when you don't have Tiani Key's length and size in there, but certainly when you're now starting Asia Boone, you've got a great shooter, somebody who's really settling into what Kenny Brooks called a sixth starter. She's somebody that's getting starter minutes, the starter type of play. Expectations are of a starter.
Magaliko with the layup on the other end. Hofstra hanging tough with the Cats early. Down low, they go to Strack once again. She's 2 for 2. There's a foul And Strack with a chance to add more at the charity stripe.
2 straight offensive trips for Kentucky now where you've seen Clara Strack with 0 hesitation, just turn and shoot. She's got the size. You know that. The ball comes down in there, you see it. She knows there's space between her and the defender. Go right up with it and shoot. No need to put it on the floor, make a move. She can score at all 3 levels of the game. So that's exactly what you'd like to see. That's just her being smart, high basketball IQ.
Strack coming off of a 26-point performance against Wright State on December 19th in the game right before Christmas. Here's Carter, she's been active early. Unwee just came into the game, the former La Tech transfer. Was in the starting lineup to begin the year for this Hofstra side. Carter working baseline. Hassett looked like she got a piece of it. Kentucky gonna push in transition. It's going to be a big key today for Hofstra. How could they contain Kentucky in transition as we see Strack get it taken away?
Well, that's part of it. Danielle Santos talked about how she did not want her post to have to be one-on-one on the defensive end. Got to have help, so that's exactly what we saw there was Chloe Sterling offer help on that weak side.
Magaliko inside. Strack got her hand on it. Kentucky running with numbers. Here's Obi. Big step over and the easy finish.
It's really athletic. That's showing you exactly how you can have good body control, elevating.
Frenetic pace early from these 2 teams probably favors Kentucky, a Hofstra team that is one of the slowest in the country this year as Magaliko continues her strong start. 4 points for the graduate out of Mozambique. Strack will step into a 3, off the iron, down for Unwee. Kareem working baseline. Foul goes against Kentucky. Strack was hunting a block. Instead, a personal foul.
It's great help side defense by Clara Strack to rotate down. Did they call the foul on Strack?
She looked a little confused herself.
Probably looking like I am over here, like, okay, wait, whatever.
Emma Kareem at the free throw line, in and out on the first. A player on this roster that got some valuable experience over the summer playing for Portugal's U19 team in the Women's Basketball World Cup. And who else played in that World Cup? Madden Greenway, the future point guard for the Kentucky Wildcats.
There you go. Well, you think about that international flavor and how just invaluable experience when you can play at such a high level against that kind of competition is really incredible.
Kareem 1 of 2, Hofstra within 3.
I hesitated because I was going to try to make a guess, but it wasn't going to be a good one.
Here's Boone, quick trigger, pure from downtown. You knew you do it.
Asia Boone with one of the most beautiful looking left-handed shots that I think I've seen. You know, sometimes left-handers, when they shoot, it's a little weird. It's a little interesting, I think is the best way to describe it. It's everything about what Asia Boone does from a shooting perspective is exactly what you would want to mimic and you would want to do now. Kenny Brooks says oftentimes it's a little too high. He says, listen, I have to tell you, shoot for the basket, not for the moon. And she laughs a little bit about that because she certainly understands it and gets it. And when she makes that tiny little adjustment, it's spot on.
Morgan into the interior again, finds an open Boone. Too strong. Boone has been one of the best three-point shooters in the SEC early this season. Von Essen did not start today, turns it over there. And Kentucky will have it when we come back. The Wildcats off to a hot start. Asia Boone and Kentucky picking up right where they left off. She's got her first 3. Kentucky rolling early against the Pride. Well, SEC play right around the corner, so it was only appropriate to look at Kentucky's Spotify Wrapped for non-conference play. 12 wins, their most since 2018 and 19. The lone loss came against a really good Maryland team. And Kentucky, we talked about the offense in the open, but defensively, they've been one of the best teams in the nation. And Christy, when you look at this Kentucky team, you compare them to a year ago, the numbers eerily similar.
Very similar, and I think that's a pleasant surprise because there were some big question marks when you lose two really great three-point shooters, when you lose an All-American point guard, a lot of questions, and you just weren't sure, and all Kenny Brooks did was just reload. So this gentleman wins. He is a winner. That's what he does, and he did it immediately at Kentucky last season, thanks in large part to players like this Strack, who just continues to get better and better every single time she steps out on the floor. So you think about the records that they broke last year, what they've already done this year, and we are just halfway, barely, not even halfway through the season, and big things looming for this team, and Kenny Brooks just continues to show that he can absolutely get it done in a very short amount of time here.
Basically a season and a half into this new era. Kenny Brooks and the Kentucky Wildcats, an 800 winning percentage if they're able to pick up the win today. And early on, Christy, you really like the ball movement from the Cats.
Yeah, I mean, it's what's not to like, right? I mean, this is a team where, you know, when they're scoring in transition, when things are flowing for them and they really have some good efficiency on offense, they're difficult to defend. And it's that length that you mentioned earlier that makes it so hard to try to figure out what to do with them.
Carroll into the game for the first time, steps into the three and connects. Had a career-high 6 in her last game before Christmas. She's stepping up in a big way.
Kenny Brooks says zero doubt that this young lady can shoot the ball. Zero hesitation for her to pull that trigger and shoot the three-pointer. She just has to really develop in other areas of the game, which he's seeing happen. Sometimes it happens slower in some areas and for other players, but really starting to develop. He said there's no doubt this young lady can help us.
Montalico off the iron, second chance putback is good for Harris, senior out of the Bronx.
And I think that's a good example there where you just sort of get beat around when you got to keep yourself in between your player and the basket. Sometimes you just get caught up a little bit. Just got to be a little smarter than that. I think that's what we'll start to see things improve with her.
Boone again. Kentucky 4 threes in the early stages. Christy, there were some legitimate concerns from people nationally about could this Kentucky team shoot the three-point ball as good as they have this year after losing players like Lawrence and Amore.
You lose your two top three-point shooters, and you're really wondering, what does that mean? What does that look like? You have no idea when you come in here. You know that these kids can shoot. You know you've seen it in practice, but Kenny Brooks will tell you it's different shooting in a game than it is in practice. No question about that. So can that translate? And we've seen that it absolutely can.
Boone looking for a third. Too strong this time.
That's a good example of what Kenny Brooks was talking about, shooting for the moon instead of the basket. It's a little too high, a little too arched, went off the back side of the rim.
The travel here goes against Sterling as Kentucky gets it back. Some sloppiness here early for Hofstra. 4 turnovers to just 1 for Kentucky. If you're Hofstra, you could not afford to give Kentucky free possessions today.
Well, Coach Atkinson telling us that with Chloe Sterling back on the floor, you're really getting some great leadership. You're getting a presence on the floor as well, and that is so hard to replicate with another player that if they just don't have it, this young lady brings it in that way. It's so crucial for what Hofstra needs to really get going in their conference portion of the schedule.
Asia Boone bringing it right now for Kentucky as Sterling penetrates off the glass. A pretty finish for the senior out of Kennesaw, Georgia. Began her career at Kenny Brooks' alma mater, James Madison, before transferring to Hofstra. Had a really nice debut season a season ago.
Tony Morgan trying to force her to go right. Chloe Sterling said, I'll take that. Showing you that she's really versatile, being able to go both ways.
8-point Wildcats edge as Morgan probes, kicks, Boone lines it up. In and out. Offensive rebound goes to Strack. That one touched out of bounds. It will stay with Kentucky.
Asia Boone showing you that she's more than just a three-point shooter, being able to knock down that mid-range jumper. Got to be able to score at different levels, but this is a great job by Sterling, considering that Toni Morgan's really trying to push her to go to that right side, really inviting her to go to that right side, seeing a lane. Oh, nice.
Hassett fouled inside.
Some miscommunication there by Hofstra on the defensive end. You can see them now trying to talk it through.
Agaliko given the personal, 3 personal fouls early on for Hofstra, and that has been an area that they have struggled this year. 1 out of every 4 plays that Hofstra is involved with has led to a foul this year. Team shooting 20 free throw attempts per game against this Hofstra team.
Tough. You got to be able to defend without fouling, and that's, you know, a situation that puts the offense on the line for easy points, or it allows them to reset. So if you get them in trouble and you're trying to force the action, the foul just bails out the offense and allows them to reset.
Kentucky 3 of 4 from the charity stripe early, approaching 77% from the line this season. Carter locates Harris. There's Kareem working on Boone. Gooden had to go and retrieve it. Uses the Harris screen. Had the mismatch, pulls over Strack. The rebound comes to Morgan.
Nice.
Wide
Great
open
read.
is Morgan, and he'll hit it.
Beautiful read. That is the situation where the point guard makes a decision. Is it a handoff? Where's the defender? Got to be able to see the floor. Great job by Toni Morgan reading the defense.
Hofstra got off to the great start to this game, though they have struggled lately against this Kentucky defense. Unwee set the screen, now rolls, trying to get it to her. 6 on the shot clock. Driving on Hassett, just threw it up. And a miscommunication there between Strack and Morgan. It's going to give it back to Hofstra with 20 seconds.
As you watch this play develop, it can be a handoff if you want it to be. If not, you see Toni Morgan just does a nice job of reading the defender, knowing she's trailing, and got it either a wide open layup, stop and pop that jumper. Really, really heads up play by Toni Morgan.
Blue paying defense in the interior. Gooden couldn't get a good shot off. Under a minute remaining in this fast-paced first quarter in Lexington. Morgan traveled. A couple of miscues on the last 2 possessions for Toni Morgan.
Well, that's just that weak side defense, that defensive help by Hofstra. Nice job by the Pride. Understanding how important the paint is. That's something that Danielle Atkinson talked to us about before the game, is the paint. Got to be able to figure some things out defensively in the paint with Kentucky's size and their athletic ability, being able to get to the rim.
About a 7-second difference between shot and game clock. Carter had it poked away. Shot clock off. Kentucky can take the final shot of the quarter.
So smart. Just seeing Toni Morgan's game continue to elevate every single game. It feels like it's something different with her every time, whether it's she's finding her teammates at an elite level, defending at an elite level. You're just seeing her game continue to grow.
Talked to her earlier today. She said it was a great first semester. Said, I even did pretty well in the classroom this year.
Yeah, she said I did all right.
Strack finds Hassett, steps into the 3, off the glass. Strack battles for it. Sterling comes down with it. 3 on the game clock. Sterling, the heave, too strong. And we head to the second quarter in Lexington. The Cats off to a hot start in their final game of 2025. Coach Brooks' favorite holiday came and went. Merry Christmas from Coach Brooks and his family. Where Kentucky has an 11-point edge over Hofstra, a team from Hempstead, New York, if you're wondering where that is, out on Long Island, an enrollment just over 10,000 for a program that brings in a lot of international kids as well. 4 in total on this Hofstra team this season. Putting together a team, trying to repeat what they did a year ago. 14 wins last season. They've got a lot of nice pieces this year, but as they told us, sometimes it's been a little hard to find an identity early on this season.
When you consider the injuries and the sickness that they've dealt with, they talked about the fact that at one point 10 players had the flu, and they went into a game with 3 that had really that were healthy and really had only played minutes. That's incredible to think about. So they just haven't been able to really get into a flow much this season. But I asked Danielle Santos Atkinson about what do you want to get done? If you're writing things on a whiteboard before the game, we have to accomplish what? And she said, we've absolutely got to protect the paint. We can't be in a one-on-one situation. They've done that pretty well. We've got to get off to a fast start. I think they did that. They really came out, showed some great energy like we're seeing here on the defensive end. And then she said, we've got to have some flow in transition. And I think even though this is an 11-point game for Hofstra, we've seen them really already check those boxes and do a nice job. Kentucky with 1 offensive rebound, Hofstra with 2. So you certainly don't want to let up, and you know this is a tough game to come in here and play, but we've got to get some things done before they turn the page to their conference play as well.
Carter triggered the 3. Obi lets it go out of bounds. Kentucky will get it back. Hofstra has gotten some nice looks early on in this game, shooting 50% from the field.
And you mentioned that to her earlier as well, too, that they've had some games where they've made a nice run towards the end, but the problem was they had dug themselves a hole early on. And against a team like Kentucky, you absolutely can't do it. So I do think they got off to a nice start. They did establish themselves and what they want to do pretty early on in this game. Now it's just a matter of being outmatched and really having some tough situations here, but turnovers have been an issue for them early as well.
Magaliko has had a nice start, was blocked from behind by Clara Strack. Kentucky with a stingy defense early on this season. Strack eyeing a 3, wide. That's a shot this coaching staff wants her to continue to take. Hits him with ease in practice, still trying to find that consistency inside the game.
Yeah, you're not going to hear Kenny Brooks tell Clara Strack not to shoot the 3-pointer. You're going to hear him tell her continue to take those shots. Even when they don't fall, he knows eventually they will, and that's exactly what he's after.
Hassett eyeing a 3. Off for Obi. Kentucky will reset. Cats got off to the hot shooting start from downtown, still shooting over their season average. Boone put her defender on skates. Strack triggers another one. 0 for 3 from outside early.
Slipped just a little bit right before she took that, had to get her feet under her. I think that's a shot, again, this coaching staff will never tell her not to take. They're going to say continue to take it even though it doesn't go in. Kenny Brooks will say to her, good shot. I want you taking that shot. Really believes we probably won't see the best of what she's able to do from the 3-point line until she's in the league.
Steps in the 17-footer cash for Clara Strack, who has 9 in this first half. Having the best season of her career so far. Sterling drives, got to her left hand, and finishes over Boone. She's been such a big re-addition to this team after missing all of November. They've gotten better in a myriad of statistical categories across the board since her return 4 games ago. As that one gets kicked out of bounds.
Off the inbound here, looking for Clara. Like, this is just a miscommunication from Hofstra. You cannot leave Clara Strack open anywhere on the floor because she's got game at all 3 levels. Nice job to find her there. Such a silky smooth jump shot.
Foul will go on Harris there, trying to guard Clara Strack. A tough matchup for Harris, but I think a good matchup for Strack as she gets set for the more physical SEC play that's looming.
It is brutal. I mean, there is no question. It's just banging night in and night out. So physical.
Strack puts it on the deck. Over Harris. Airballed the 2. Gilvin off of her hands last. Chloe Sterling in those 4 games since returning, averaging over 10 points per game, just under 6 rebounds. Expecting the assist to tick up as well as she gets more comfortable once again in this offense. Gilvin almost ripped it away. Sterling keeps it in the front court. Step back 3. Not her best effort.
Not a great possession for Hofstra, I think, out of what we've seen out of them being good so far in the first quarter. Really not a great possession.
Long rebound goes to Carter after the Boone miss. searching for consistent flow on their offense as Obi draws the personal.
And asked several members of their staff how Chloe Sterling was doing, really settling back in after an injury, and they said she's done absolutely fantastic. I'm not sure there's much more you can ask of her to be able to come in and give this team exactly what they need.
Well, Kentucky's up 13, a time on the floor, and we will take it with them. The 11th ranked Cats eyeing a 13-1 non-conference start when we come back. Lexington, Kentucky, beautiful during this time of year. After Christmas, pre-New Year's, as we play the final game of 2025 here inside historic Memorial Coliseum. Right before the break, we were talking about the impact that Chloe Sterling has had since returning from injury. Tore her ACL last year. The rehab process stretched a little bit longer than they had expected. Made her season debut on December 6th. You can see the numbers right there. She's had an instant impact on this program.
Well, what you don't see on those numbers, I said, I think as you look at those, you think, well, gosh, they seem kind of similar. But what you don't see is presence and leadership, pace and tempo, efficiency. All of these things that she brings to the table in a way that sometimes don't always show up on the stat sheet, but you're talking about a point guard that understands pace and tempo, understands when her team needs to get out and run, understands when to pull it back out, set up your secondary. When these are all things that inherently a point guard just understands and knows how to do. She is both facilitating and scoring. Before, we talked with them about her ability to score. She can do that in a lot of different ways. Now you've got to figure out how to facilitate, what's the best way to be able to do that, but then also still continue to look for that shot. I think we've seen her do that beautifully already here today, so I'm glad to see her back, that she's healthy enough to be back and making an impact right away for this team.
She clearly is an elevator for this Hofstra program. Carter worked around the Morgan screen. Hofstra got off to the great start in this game, but have not been able to carry it over here into the second quarter. Magaliko set the screen. Carter pulled along two. Boone skies for it. And Kentucky is just ready to run every time they get a rebound. Boone resetting here. Morgan playing off the ball right now.
I like it. I like being able to mess around with that a little bit. Put her at that 2.
Deep in the shot clock here for Kentucky.
Put her at the 3. I mean, she's a player that can certainly do that exactly in either position.
A great dish there from Morgan. Obi couldn't finish, and it will be a shot clock violation on the Wildcats. That's where being a point guard's tough sometimes, huh, Christy? You do all the work right there. You're supposed to get the assist, and something like that happens.
Well, and that's exactly what Danielle Santos-Atkinson said about Chloe Sterling as well, is that, you listen, sometimes you make these great passes, you just dish it off, and they just aren't falling. They just don't go down. That should be one in the stat sheet for you.
On Essen on the curl, no good.
I'll tell you what goes a long way, though, is you just look at it. It's a my bad. It's a take responsibility, take accountability for it.
Oh, great find here. Obi to Strack.
Really nice.
Clara Strack into double figures here in the first half. Kentucky with their largest lead of the game. It's 15. Sterling with it. Boone tipped it. Von Essen retrieves. 5 on the shot clock. She can really stroke it from downtown, but Kentucky making her life difficult. Here's Morgan into the body. Offensive foul. Von Essen stepped in and drew it. The first personal foul on Tony Morgan.
Well, and that's why you don't give up on it. I got to give Von Essen a ton of credit because she was getting harassed on the offensive end, and then you see her here still moving. She's not completely set, but what you see in that situation, if you're an official, is that the shoulder lowers a little bit. The offensive player makes the contact, initiates the contact. Is what it is. That's impressive that you don't give up on it when you could really be frustrated by Kentucky's defense.
Good and hobbled, grabbing that right ankle He's had a tough start to this game, charged with a turnover right there, has a couple of personal fouls already. Looks like she's just going to retie that tennis shoe, strap it up a little bit tighter. Senior out of Canada, first-year starter for this Hofstra side after coming off the bench 82 times over the last 3 seasons. Gonna try to walk it off.
Planted that right foot. Just a little bit of a slide. Tough one. Hope she's all right. She'll come back.
Carter in for Gooden. Kentucky with the big edge early. Trying to get it into Strack. Maglico having to work so hard in the interior as Blue triggers and hits.
Well, that's devastating for Hofstra when you've just done such a great job and been so active on the defensive end. And then that's exactly what we talked about before tip-off, with Kentucky being able to extend the defense, force them to make some decisions, to open things up in the paint. They're really trying to concentrate on Strack. Got to have that reliable, consistent shooting.
Morgan driving on the smaller Carter. Draws the foul and will head to the free throw line.
It was great defense. I thought this was a good defensive possession by Hofstra. They were very active, did a little bit of trapping or trying to trap in that situation, and then Kentucky just patient. Lexi Blue with a really nice shot. She's had a couple of big games.
Yeah, and she's had a great start to her sophomore year, shooting over 33% from downtown, has become a really valuable weapon for Kenny Brooks' side off the bench. Playing close to 14 minutes per game. This Kentucky team much deeper this season.
And she's really worked at it. I mean, this is a young lady that spends time in the gym, before shoot around, before practice, after practice. Really puts some time in, wanting to be a contributor for this team.
Going inside, Maglico. Driving on Strack, she says no. The long arm of the law in Strack.
This is what length will do for you, and timing. She's got such great hands.
Strack with 4 blocks already here in the first half. Sterling has it, under 5. Sterling, Morgan says no again. Going to get a shot clock reset, or will they? Discussion taking place.
I thought they've called that ball out of bounds. I thought they were calling a foul. So big break for Hofstra there.
And they did get the shot clock reset there because there was a change of possession, even though it was very brief. So a fresh 20 to work with here for the Pride. From Long Island, New York. Morgan up in Sterling's grill, gave it up. In for Carter. Working on Blue, got her defender in the air, threw it up, no, as Carroll skies for it. Kentucky on a 6-0 run over the last 2 minutes and change. Largest lead of the game, it's 19 for the Wildcats. Kentucky setting up the offense. Watch for Strack on the roll. They go to her. Inside, off the glass. Yes, ma'am.
It's a really nice setup by Kentucky. Strack calling for Kaylin Carroll to come out and set up the offense. I love that idea of the post player really taking charge and saying, let's go, come on out here. Working off the screen, pick and roll to perfection. That's why you roll to the basket. Set the screen, get rewarded.
13 first half points for Strack, who has quickly become one of the best centers in not only SEC, but in the entire country. Coming into today was the only player in the country averaging over 15 points, 10 rebounds, 2 blocks, and 1.5 steals. And she passes the ball pretty well as well.
Oh, by the way, right? I mean, this is a young lady who just has such a complete game that can really do it all. So, oftentimes you see a post player really be able to score at a very high level, but then to defend at a high level as well. She's the eraser, you know when you get beat, you can maybe overplay a little bit in that guard position because you've got her back there to help.
Harris airballed the long two. Sterling rebounded it and threw it off the backside of Asia Boone. Smart play there by the veteran PG. Kentucky with a little bit smaller of a lineup right here. You've got Jordan Obi playing the 5. You see her play the 1 through 5. Kenny Brooks has said, I've never had a player who can do that.
Yeah, I mean, what a luxury to have. You can be able to get Clara Strack a few minutes on the bench, get a little rest, especially when you get a lead going. Now you can really kind of mess around with some lineups.
Good drive by Kareem, blue by Hassett for the easy 2. Kentucky leading by 20. They've had a big lead for much of this second quarter. Down low to Obi. Triple team Canes. Pitch out, Blue for 3. Short, offensive rebound. Off the glass, won't go again. Kentucky will have a 3rd try on this possession. Small round of applause from Big Blue Nation after that hustle.
Well, when you say follow your shot and it sounds so basic and so elementary, that's exactly why you do it.
Look at Boone, penetrate off the glass, no foul.
Nobody knows where the ball is coming off the rim better than the shooter.
Carter driving on Carroll. And the rebound goes to KK Carroll. Really starting to find her footing here at the end of non-conference play. Hassett, quick trigger. Oh, yeah. Doesn't take much time.
Beautiful quick release. Kenny Brooks on his feet, giving some encouragement here to have a good defensive possession.
Hofstra starting to find some cracks in this Kentucky defense. Unwee, 10 on the shot clock. Looking for Kareem on the roll. Step back 3, over Boone, you bet!
Really nice. Beautiful step back there.
3 seconds left in this first half. Boone across midcourt. Boone throws it up. Oh, just short. But Kentucky doubling up Hofstra in this first half. A 42-21 lead. The Cats getting off to a hot start offensively. They're leading big after 1 half in Lexington. Strack's been good. Morgan's been excellent. Kentucky up big at the break. It was an impressive first half for 11th ranked Kentucky, a 21-point lead at the half. As we welcome you inside historic Memorial Coliseum, alongside Christy Thomas, I'm Noah Frary, and these Cats, one final dry run, Christy, before SEC play, and it went off pretty well in that opening period.
Well, it did. Coming back from Christmas break is never easy. You get a couple of days off. You've got to do your own thing, some conditioning. Do you really do the conditioning the way you would if you're here with your team and your coach? Listen, a lot of that is very telling when you come back, but you got to get your legs under you, get that blood pumping. They did a very nice job on both ends of the floor, which I think if you're, Kenny Brooks, you're very happy with what you've seen so far. Always something to work on, but you've got to love the start here so far.
Well, speaking of doing it on both sides of the floor, Clara Strack with an impressive first half. She finishes with 14 points and 4 blocks.
She's number 1 on everybody's scouting report, and this is why she scores in a variety of ways. She's a threat all over the floor on both ends. You can see her do it all for this team and really take on a great leadership role. But when Clara is on, that means that the three-point shooting needs to be on as well. She will find you. She is an excellent passer, and this team needs those deep balls to go in so that those paint options continue to be there for her. There were 4 different players knocking down threes in this for 6 in that first half. This is what Kentucky's got to do more of. Being able to find the open player, find the open man, knock down those balls from deep so that the paint continues to be open where Clara Strack can work.
And most importantly, Kentucky sharing the rock like it's a Christmas present. 15 assists on 16 made field goals. That's going to make every coach smile.
So efficient on offense, and what that means then is as they're finding open players, they are hitting the shots. They are being really, really efficient on the offensive end. That's exactly what you want to see. I mean, if there was a little chink in their armor in that first half, it was probably not controlling some of those straight line drives to the basket. That's something they'll definitely look at. You've got to be able to do as you get into SEC play. We'll see what kind of adjustments they make for that in the second half.
So, Christy, if you're Hofstra, you get off to the hot start today, then you slow down. What do you need to see from them in these first 5 minutes of the third quarter?
No quit. You've got to show that you can absolutely stick it out no matter what the score is. It doesn't matter. We're working on ourselves at this point, trying to get better. What do we need to do? Still trying to find an identity, really trying to figure out what that is. Who's going to be the player that steps up as you're trying to put pieces together that are just now coming back from injuries, sickness, a lot of things that is really a ton of adversity that this team has faced. But I think you have to be really pleasantly surprised if you're this coaching staff with what you've seen here. This is a team that I think is going to make some noise in their conference. This young lady will be a big reason for that.
They brought back 3 starters this year. They were picked 9th in the preseason poll. Right now, College of Charleston 8-3 on the year, and Drexel living up to the preseason expectations in the CAA. CAA play beginning at the start of January. Agaliko working around Strack. And Clara Strack is having one heck of a day inside.
We'll keep an eye on her blocks. A career high 8 for her last season. Just a beautiful, this is, I've said this before, there's a, you have a knack for that. Length helps, of course. But you've got to have a knack for it to be able to do it without fouling.
Speaking of fouls, Gooden had a couple in that first half. Missed some time back out there as Hassett took away that pass. Morgan trailing, locates Hassett. She'll bang it home.
Tony Morgan knew exactly what she wanted to do with that ball, and that was get it back to her shooter. She just needed to reset her feet. Beautiful shot. Amelia Hassett, a great shooter for this team, knocking down her 3rd three-pointer.
Alongside Christy Thomas, I'm Noah Frary. Kentucky with their largest lead of the game of 24. As we get a foul, it'll go against Jordan Obi. Just her 2nd.
Tony Morgan knew exactly what she wanted to do with that ball, is that she could rotate that around, but the defense is making some decisions. You see as they shift and they move. And Amelia Hassett has such a quick release. She'll get that ball off in a heartbeat.
16 assists now on 17 made baskets for Kentucky.
It's a beautiful thing on the offensive end. If you're Kentucky, they're doing a lot of things really well.
Sterling with it at the top, got by Boone. Into the paint, draws the foul, and will find herself at the free throw line. Chloe Sterling, 6 points in that first half. Good team captain is this Hofstra team, one of those returning starters from a year ago. And you're talking about Kentucky's hot shooting. You saw what they did against Wright State, 15 of 39 from downtown, following it up today with 7 for 18 so far.
Well, as we talk about those tune-ups, as you're heading into SEC play, that's what you want to see. You've got to start to, there was some of that was really struggling from the field in those first couple of games that we did, Noah, where we were thinking, we know this team's better, they have better shooters than this. They're a better shooting team than this. We just weren't seeing it. And sometimes that's all it takes, is knowing that your coaching staff believes in you. You continue to put the work in the gym, and it all starts to come together.
Obi with the jumper off the deck. Kenny Brooks has consistently stressed consistency with this Kentucky side. As you mentioned with the three-point shooting, it felt like they were undulating at the beginning of the season. Not as much lately.
Yeah, the shots would look good, right? We're watching them take really good shots. They're open shots, shots they should be taking. They just weren't falling. This team works too hard at that for that not to be the case. So when you see those shots start to fall, you're like, now we see it, right? That's the hard work that you've been putting in, those extra shots that you're getting up at the gym when nobody's watching.
Good, and lost it. Some good defense there from Boone.
If they can get Asia Boone's defense really elevated and playing at a high level, that's making her so dangerous. You know she's a scorer, you know she's a shooter, but Kenny Brooks really needed her defense to really elevate, get to a different level.
Hassett hit a three a couple moments ago, goes into Obi, backing down her man, spins, pretty touch.
mentioned it in the first half, seeing Jordan Obi play lots of different positions, play that 4 and 5, being able to put a defender on her back and make a nice move there. So versatile.
A foul there goes against Kentucky. And
when you can take a player like this that can play that 2, 3, 4, or 5, you know she's got the advantage here. She's got some size, but she also has the athleticism, just a great fadeaway, nice touch. 2 for 2 down there, that baseline.
Christy, we've talked about it ad nauseum, but when you look at this Kentucky team, you compare them to last year's team, I think players like Boone and Obi are going to be separators as this team tries to go deeper in March this season.
Yeah, I think you know what you get with Clara Strack. You know what you get with a Toni Morgan, but when you can take Asia Boone and Obi, this is a situation where you're really starting to put together a full starting 5 that any one of them can score, any one of them can be the go-to, any one of them can step in and give you exactly what you need. Clara Strack needs that help.
At last check, 7 different Kentucky players have led this team in scoring so far this year. A much deeper squad this season. Brooks had to play with sometimes as many as or as few as 6 players a season ago.
That's incredibly hard to do. I mean, just from the wear and tear, especially as you get into SEC, you've got to have fresh legs. Your bodies get beat up.
Hassett, quick trigger. Oh yeah! She's got 13.
And I think this is the young lady that we were really waiting for the lid to come off for Amelia Hassett. You know she's a great shooter. We saw it last season, a little bit of a slow start, but that didn't mean that she wasn't contributing in other ways. She absolutely was, averaging more minutes than just about anybody else on the floor. So Kenny Brooks and staff really believing in her, but her now being able to knock down those shots, listen, and that's the thing, Kenny Brooks said, keep taking them. I don't care if you're missing them, you take those.
And Kentucky doing this with one of their best weapons still on the bench in Tiani Key, out for today's game for the 2nd game in a row as Hassett works baseline and kisses it off the glass. And Danielle Atkinson wants a timeout. Kentucky rolling here in Lexington, 54-27 at the break in the 3rd. And giving Hofstra all sorts of trouble defensively.
Great spacing here by Kentucky's offense. Toni Morgan with the drive, the kick out. That's what you want to be, deep in that corner, and Amelia Hassett knocking down that 3-pointer. Same exact thing here, but now because you've hit that ball from deep, you're forcing the defense to come out and defend. Just blowing right by there. Great job by Amelia Hassett. Reading what the defense is giving you, taking it, but that's why you have to be reliable and consistent from deep.
Assist to turnover says, we share it well, we take care of the basketball. Kentucky has been one of the better teams in that, as well as turnovers per game. And Christy, today, a 4.0 assist to turnover ratio. That's going to put a smile on Kenny Brooks' face.
A clinic. They're putting on a clinic about how to take care of the basketball, how to protect it, how to be smart with it, how to be efficient with it, everything. And I love this. There's a real unselfish nature about this team in a lot of different ways. You think where you've got a superstar like a Clara Strack could very easily sort of fall into some of that, and they don't. There is no selfishness here. Lots of distribution, lots of different types of scoring happening here for this team. Not unusual to see 4, 5, 6 players be in double figures.
Sterling with a quick trigger, airballed it. If you were Danielle Atkinson in that last time out, what were you saying to your side?
Keep doing what we're doing. Keep playing. You have to keep after it. We're trying to figure things out. This is a situation where she said, listen, this we're seeing right here, we come at it a little too late. I sometimes make the decision to extend our defense a little too late because good things start happening for us. So we're seeing that now. Going to continue to pressure, going to continue to do what we're doing. Got to be a little more efficient on offense, though. We saw them do that very early on, and then they've gotten away from it a little bit.
Strack with a rare miss. It had a red-hot first half. Still scoreless so far in the second half. That one out off of Hofstra.
Extending your defense is a little tough because, listen, in this situation when you're down 30 and you're starting to see this game really get away from you, you want to continue to work on some things, but want to see if you can force Kentucky to be uncomfortable. That's exactly what they want.
Look at Strack spin. Oh, yes! She's the unicorn. Von Essen passes up the 3 on the other end.
I think that's the kind of shot when you see her fall after that, you think everybody holds their breath. I was watching Kenny Brooks eyeball her very intently.
And And Strack right there going to pick up another foul.
Just a great shot by Clara Strack here, getting the ball. You see the physicality, reading the defense, that beautiful little step back. And then it was after the shot, getting tripped up a little bit, and Kenny Brooks almost kind of holding his breath, very intently looking at her like, all right, get up. Now we'll sub out here. Let's play it safe here, get a few minutes.
Easy day at the office so far for Strack. Not as much for Hofstra. Unwee off the glass. I did misspeak a moment ago. That foul was not on Clara Strack. It was actually on Asia Boone, her second. So both Strack and Boone with 2 personal fouls.
Well, that's what we've seen Kentucky do today, is play really great defense without fouling. Nobody in foul trouble early. That's where you want to be as you're trying to get your feet under you with the game before you start conference play. Everybody needs to get really good, solid minutes.
KK Carroll hit a first half 3, had that one kicked away by Unwee, the senior out of Dallas, Texas. And that'll take us right back to break. Kentucky rolling in Lexington on the eve of SEC play. The Kentucky Wildcats up big, and for Toni Morgan, came into today second in the nation in assists on the court, but she's been dishing off the court as well, back in her hometown of Tallahassee, Florida, over Christmas break. Morgan choosing to give back to those who helped get her to where she has gotten. First, she donates a scores table to her high school, Florida State University schools, then a donation to Alexis House, an organization that helps in the Tallahassee community, and finally giving gift cards to several young children via Academy to help get them sports gear that they can use. She said, when talking about this, I was so thankful for those who gave to me when I was younger, just trying to do a little bit to give back myself.
I said, young lady, that shows an awful lot about your raising. And she said, that's exactly right. You know, that her family showed her the way, and this is exactly what she wants to do, to be able to give back, and what a great thing to be able to do. And, you know, so credit this young lady for understanding what it's all about, connecting with community, really going back home and saying thank you to, you know, the place that raised you. I think is very mature. It's incredibly insightful on her part to be able to do, and then to come back here and play at such a high level and see her progress. We've talked about it over and over about how much better you've seen this young lady get, and gosh, what if we had seen her be a part of Kenny Brooks' system for a long time?
Looked like there was some confusion here initially given to Hofstra. It will stay with Kentucky. But Christy, to further your point, Toni Morgan is a young woman that feels and looks very comfortable here in Kentucky after coming over from Georgia Tech, where she spent the last 4 years.
I think we've seen that comfortability grow. I think that's what has been so fun about her game, is you start to see her really settle in and understand what she can do and how her contributions are really going to affect this team in such a big way. It's been a lot of fun to watch.
You can make the argument she's been one of the better point guards in the country this year. Great passing, an open Carroll, and she fires away and knocks it down.
You leave that young lady open and she is dangerous. Just a freshman, but an immense amount of confidence in her own shot. Her coaches have an immense amount of confidence there.
And an offensive foul inside gives it right back to Kentucky.
Just zero hesitation. Beautiful looking shot, great size, so it's a real matchup problem in that 3 or 4. If she's that 4, she can pull people out, pull a defender out. Have to absolutely play her honest.
She's a player this coaching staff just wants to become more present, be aggressive out there when given her opportunities. They go to Carroll once again. Down low to Strack, who's had a big afternoon. Kick out, Hassett, quick trigger. Nothing but nylon. And Kenny Brooks with a round of applause on the sideline.
That's how you run offense. Inside, double, triple team. Clara Strack is a great passer. She has great vision. Sees Amelia Hassett. She improves her position. You don't stand still.
Von Essen threw it up. 8 made shots for Kentucky in the second half. Every single one of them have been assisted. More good ball movement. Boone pays it off.
The floodgates have opened for Kentucky's three-point shooting. Just on point today.
Santa must have left his elves in Lexington because there's a lot of sharing going on right now.
A lot of sharing. It's also that extra pass. You know, it's a teammate that could take a shot that's open, but one more pass makes a good shot a great shot.
That one comes off the rim for Strack. And it might not matter as much today against this Hofstra team, but looming is a matchup with LSU, and they're going to have to dot their I's and cross their T's as Strack is wide open.
This is exactly what you want to see, even though it's a team that is outmatched, isn't as athletic, isn't as tall, isn't all the things. This was a game Kentucky was supposed to win, but you want to play well while you're doing it.
Magaliko had that one taken away. Kentucky cruising right now, up by 40. Searching for more. Strack from the free throw line. 20 for a second game in a row.
Yeah, just really smart by Clara Strack. But great spacing. So far we've seen really good spacing from Kentucky's offense. We've talked about those three-point shots and how important they're going to be for Kentucky to get things going in the paint with Clara Strack, and that's why. When you're triple-teamed, you've got to find the open man. That's Amelia Hassett making the extra pass. Kentucky's team has worked and worked at this three-point shooting, but it's just one more pass. A streaking Clara Strack. That's why the paint's wide open. You keep everybody honest. Everybody's got great spacing. You've got to defend beyond the arc. Clara Strack wide open going to the basket. Really impressive today for Kentucky.
Right now, Strack and Hassett outscoring Hofstra on their own. Kentucky in the midst of a 20-2 run over the last 5 minutes. They've stretched this lead to a game-high 42. Kentucky continuing to dominate at home as they've done throughout non-conference play. Coming into today 6-0 at home.
Well, and you think about Kentucky being 12-1, and you think, all right, well, how much more confidence do they need? Well, as you're heading into a game with the 5th-ranked team in the country, and it's on the road, you need a ton of it. But really, I think where you want the most amount of confidence is in that shooting. You want to see those three-point shots go down because you know they're good shots that you have to take, that you need to take. So being able to see them go and do it with confidence in a lot of different places. This isn't just one person that we're seeing hit shots. Multiple people are taking good shots, knocking good shots down, sharing the basketball, a lot of good, a lot of confidence to take with you on the road to Baton Rouge.
And you're going to need a lot of confidence going down to face Kim Mulkey's Fighting Tigers because they've got the best offense in the country so far this year. Talk about a great way to start SEC play.
My goodness, I don't know if that's good or not, right? I mean, I guess it depends on who you ask. For us that are basketball fans, seeing this game Thursday at 8 o'clock on the SEC Network Plus is going to be great. It's the only ranked matchup of the day. An awesome game, really, to open up conference play. I think it really will be a nice barometer to see where you are as you try to set the tone for who your team can be as you get into conference play, the biggest and toughest stretch.
Look at Boone track down the long rebound. And then finds a wide open Carroll. Missed the first try, got the second. You really have to like what you've seen from KK Carroll stepping in, playing a bigger role these last 2 games with Tiani Key out with injury.
Gonna have to see it, right? I mean, you gotta have it. You don't know at any point when someone can have some injuries. Gotta have some quality minutes out of players that you really had a big expectations as they came in. A lot on your plate, a lot on your shoulders. Lexi Blue is a great example of that as well. Gotta have players that can come in and give you some big minutes. That SEC schedule is such a grind. It's so physical. Everybody talks about it. Everybody knows it. It's 2 games a week. When you hit that SEC bye week, you've never been more thankful to just be able to take a breath. You don't rest much, but you rest when you can. But to be able to have fresh legs is huge.
16-game league schedule. Kentucky finishing 11-5 a year ago, picking up that double bye in Greenville. They'll be in the conversation to do that once again. Under a minute remaining here in this 3rd quarter. Kentucky outscoring Hofstra 29-7 in this 3rd quarter. Obi working on Harris, steps back, short. It ping-pongs out. Good effort there by Harris as it goes back to Hofstra. lets it roll. Hofstra, the offense just disappearing in the third quarter, just 1 for 9. Well, they have had 5 points from the free throw line. Harris on the roll. Not a great matchup for Blue, and Harris takes advantage.
Nice pick and roll, taking advantage of size and physicality. Great.
Gilvin,
Really
tie
nice.
up there. Christy, here's a fun stat for you. Josie Gilvin has played 92 minutes coming into today's game, has not had a single turnover this year, and that streak's going to continue because the possession arrow was friendly to Kentucky.
That's what you want, right? We talked about that. Assist to turnover ratio, being able to take care of the basketball, that gets you playing time. I love that from Hofstra, though, mixing it up a little bit, little run and jump. Some half-court pressure, trying to get Kentucky a little out of sorts.
Shot clock off here for the final possession of this third quarter. A dominant third quarter for Kentucky. Boone getting downhill, finds a wide open Hassett. Too strong, Gilvin with the rebound. Carroll steps into one, off again. Battle for the basketball, it stays with the Cats. Plenty of time to get another shot off. Boone will trigger the inbound after they clean up some sweat. There was bodies all over the floor.
All over the floor, but I love this idea with 5 seconds to go here to take the ball out of bounds with some of your starters on the bench and really trying to execute here. Calling a play, great execution.
A lot of great shooters on the floor. Hassett with it. Boone trying to get free. Carroll had it tipped away. Boone heaves it up. And Kentucky not able to get a good look at the end of the third quarter, but it was a dominant third quarter for the Cats. Plus 20, Tiani Key out, but Clara Strack feasting. The Cats up big here in the final game of 2025. The gauntlet looms, SEC play beginning later this week. Kentucky was picked 8th in the preseason poll. They were displeased with that pick. They've let their play do the talking. South Carolina and Texas have looked fantastic. Tennessee struggling a little bit, but back into the AP top 25 this week as you get a look at the upcoming slate. So many great games, and I've been really impressed with Vanderbilt early on this season, Christy.
Yeah, I think there's a lot to be impressed with all over the board with the SEC, and this is what, you know, when you take a look at that 11 versus 5 game for Kentucky, to open SEC play, that's a tough way to go when you're on the road, but I think that this is a team that's absolutely up for it when you've got a leader like Tony Morgan with Clara Strack. This is a really fun team to watch, and I think this is going to be a great SEC season for a lot of reasons. But to your point, you've got so many of these teams are so much improved, and when you look at the top 25 and where they all fall, it's hard to believe that many teams can be that good in the SEC, and they are. So this is you better bring it game in and game out. Every time you step on the floor, here they are. I mean, my goodness. That's a gauntlet. I mean, we say it all the time, and we sound like a broken record talking about it, but everybody that plays in the SEC knows how tough this can be, but pretty impressive to see that many SEC teams in the top 25.
The SEC and the Big Ten, each with 8 teams in the top 25 right now. The sprint to March. Kind of feel like at this point it could be anyone's game for who wins the national championship.
Sure.
UConn's been so good. I think UCLA's starting to figure some things out.
And, as we all start to, we say it, there's a couple of different ways to look at the season. You kind of break it all down and know that your non-conference is one portion of that, your conference is the other portion of it. But as you get through your conference play, you're still improving and you're still getting better. No one starts the season as the same team as they are when they're ready to make a run in March. So a lot of really exciting things happening, especially as you see these SEC teams battle it out in January and February.
Maddie Pounds just into the game, picks up her first foul. Sophomore out of Rocky Mount, North Carolina. Kentucky with 3 starters on the floor. Strack, Morgan, and Hassett. Brooks and Carroll out there as well. Morgan matched up on Pounds. Draws the switch, bullet pass, Brooks. Lost it out of bounds. Christy, you came into today wondering how Kentucky would respond after the Christmas break, but They've come in here and not look like they're still on holiday time.
Well, we asked Tony Morgan, you know, how was practice when you came back? Because that's very telling. That first practice back is usually like, oh, gosh, I mean, it can be either a great practice if everybody did what they were supposed to do, or it's tough. And she said it was great. We had a really nice first practice. So I think that's a sign of maturity as well, too, that your team knows what's at stake. They understand that they've got to get some things done on their own. They all seem to do that. She said we had a great first practice.
Veteran-heavy Kentucky squad with some big goals this season. As Strack turns, the shot won't go as Harris grabs the long one. Strack with a second straight 20-piece, had 26 in the game before Christmas.
Pretty take. Didn't go for Sterling, but really nice take.
Look at Strack run the floor. Morgan finds her, and just incredible effort from one of Kentucky's leaders.
When your bigs can run the floor like that, have great hands, nice touch. That's what you love. Fast break buckets. Just throw it up there and let them go get it. You know, we were talking about Kentucky's conference schedule, but Hofstra on the road here at Kentucky. Been on the road for a minute already as it is, and that road swing doesn't end. They're going to continue to stay on the road and go to Charleston to open up 2 games in their conference. You talk about tough. Boy, that's tough. I mean, to be able to, you're finishing out December on the road with 3 straight games, not even going home, gonna stay on the road, knock out 2 conference games before you get home.
And to add to it, that Charleston team, the preseason favorite in the CAA this year. Then a couple games later, you get Drexel, who was picked second in the poll. Morgan got inside.
That's tough. I mean, that's when you learn an awful lot about your team. When you're on the road, when you really got to get after it, when you're tired, when you're coming off of a loss like this against Kentucky.
And the one thing we learned a year ago was that anything can happen in the CAA. This is a league that was won by a 9 seed last year at William & Mary, a team that Hofstra actually faced in the second round of that tournament. They won 4 games in 4 days, went to the NCAA tournament, won a game against High Point in the first 4. So you get to that time of year and dreams can come true.
I'm telling you, kudos to anybody that can win 4 games in 4 days, 5 games in 5 days to try to make a run in a conference tournament when you don't have any of those buys is so impressive. It's hard to do. I mean, that is exhausting, mentally and physically.
I don't know about you. I don't normally play 40-minute games, but I'd struggle to get out of bed every 4 days, right?
You, it's hard. I mean, it's tough. And I think really it's that mental and emotional, you know, especially if you're in tight games and, you know, you've had really, really tough outings. That is just so much to ask of these athletes. And they do it. They get it done.
Strack with another block. Has a fighting chance for a career high in blocks today. Has 6. Her career high is 8. Audie Crooks, by far and away the best center in the country, but I think Clara Strack can very easily make the argument for being the most unique center in the country.
Well, I just think she's so versatile and she does so many different things. You know, it's not just about being able to pound it down there and score. She can score at all 3 levels. She runs the floor well. She passes well. She sees the floor. So I do think that there's an awful lot that she brings to the table in a very different way, to your point.
Morgan penetrated and just got to the tin with ease.
Goodness. That looked good.
Sterling working on 5 and white. It goes.
Well, I love that about Chloe Sterling. Says, watch me, I can do the same thing. Really nice drive here. Going right. Back to her left. Pretty. You see Tony Morgan trying to force the action, wanting the lefty to go right, so she said, okay, we'll get it done that direction too.
Sterling with a team high 14, a season high for her in just her 5th game of the year. Morgan up and under. Strack ripped it down, punched out. It'll stay with the Cats. Shot clock did reset after that ball hit the rim. Talked a lot about Chloe Sterling today. And for good reason. She has been the lion's share of the offense for the Pride. Strack off the glass. She's got 24. Just making it look easy. 24 points, has 11 rebounds, a double-double, 6 blocks, a couple of assists. What can't she do?
That's just packing the stat sheet.
Sterling working around Boone, pulls up over her. Really like what Chloe Sterling is bringing for this Hofstra side.
We've seen her have that 15, 17-foot jumper. Really, really nice.
Strack gave it away. Unwee pushing. Ill-advised. Carroll fighting for it. And it will go back to Kentucky. That's the type of defense that they want to see KK Carroll play. And if she begins to, I think you're going to see her in the rotation a lot more down the stretch of the year.
That's what they need to see. Got to have it. And that's the toughest part of this game, is really trying to understand defense at this level. Making that transition, really needing to see the game really come to her.
And it appears we will have a challenge on that out-of-bounds player, an appeal rather here. It will take us to break. We'll let you know the decision when we come back. Kentucky up by 40 and rolling here in Lexington. Top returner this year, Amelia Hassett, has been putting them down so far today.
A little slow as the season opened, knowing that she is a great shooter. It just wasn't falling for her, but in the second half of this non-conference schedule, she's really found her stroke, really found her stride, shooting with a ton of confidence. She's hit 5 of them today, 5 of 8 from distance, but this young lady also has 4 assists. She has 3 rebounds. Typically, you'll see her with a block or 2 in this. She's got 1 in this game, so she's a young lady who plays a lot of minutes. She averages the second most minutes on the floor or for this team, and you're saying, well, why? If she's not shooting the ball well, and that's because she does so quietly, does so many other things really, really well. So this is what her team expects from her. This is what Kenny Brooks expects from her, is for her to be able to knock down these shots, but she is very valuable otherwise. So when you can see that really finally, the smile after the last 3-point shot, you've got to love being able to see a young lady shoot, it goes in, you're seeing your hard work pay off. It's so enjoyable and having a great time doing it.
25th game of her Kentucky career where she's hit more than 2 threes in a game. Obi had that one taken away. Sterling pushing. 16 points today for Chloe Sterling out of Kennesaw, Georgia. That shot won't go for Hofstra. The lead 40 for Kentucky. It's been as many as 43. We showed you the Cats' home dominance this year. Next time they will be at home will be their SEC home opener against Missouri, as Carroll goes off the back of the iron. Kentucky with quite the start to SEC play, looming matchups against LSU and Oklahoma. So much talent in the league again once this season. Unwee, fouled.
Hofstra taking advantage of a switch and getting a mismatch there. Asia Boone with the foul, but I like the heads up, the recognition by Hofstra to go inside. When you're really struggling to try to score and get something going, you've got to take advantage when Kentucky gives it to you. Take advantage.
Unwee connecting on the first, her first point of the day. Hofstra head coach Danielle Atkinson telling us that it was going to be a big lift today to come in here and upset this Kentucky team. Hofstra has not had a ranked win since 2015. Interestingly enough, that was against Kenny Brooks when he was at James Madison. But a Hofstra team that's very focused on the process, and you get some pieces back, they start to get healthy. Maybe you find a little bit more flow when you try to make a run in the CAA.
Well, and when you sit down at the beginning of the season to make goals for what your team, what you want to get done, beating Kentucky is not necessarily at the top of that list, right? What you want to know is your long-term goals, and that involves your conference tournament, getting to the NCAA tournament. All of those things are goals. This is one step toward getting to those goals. So this doesn't make or break your season, but you are trying to learn about yourself, get better, figure some things out, just like everybody else is in their non-conference play. But, for Hofstra, to your point, this isn't something, it's nice, right? If you come in and can play well against Kentucky, you could beat a Kentucky, pull off an upset. That's a really nice thing. But it's not their ultimate goal and not really where they're trying to get.
Coach Atkinson telling us as well that the one thing that has impressed her about this team early on this year, they've not quit. They will be 2-9 heading into conference play, so they've dug themselves a little bit of a hole, but everyone's 0-0 starting January 1st as Harris misses off the glass. Look at Morgan, straight line drive, fouled. And it'll go on Pounds. It will be her second personal. And it will put Toni Morgan back at the free throw line.
Taking some contact. You see Pounds turning. She wanted to say something to the official like, are you kidding? Wait, what? She thought better of it.
And she got hit in the head with the basketball.
She thought a little better of it. Good choice.
Morgan putting together a nice performance once again here today. 9 points now, 10 assists. Comes up just short there on the free throw, so she'll still be hunting for that double-double. Came into today one of 2 point guards in the country, averaging over 13 points per game and over 8 assists per contest this season. Trying to find Harris on the roll. Instead, she'll pick up the personal. Hassett comes up a little hobbled, but appears to be in good spirits. Christy, what's impressed you with Kentucky today?
Well, first of all, their ability to shoot the ball has been really nice, but I think, we go back to this a bit, them sharing the basketball and being so efficient on offense. I think we've had a couple of games in this non-conference schedule where we've seen flashes of that, we've seen stretches, and that's something that Kenny Brooks talked to us about today at their shoot-around was we've got to have those stretches. We've got to have to put more of them together for longer periods of time. Can't have stretches where you go without scoring. They've really eliminated those today. We haven't seen any of those. We've seen them play defense at a high level. So I'm impressed to see them come back this fresh, this good, this efficient after a break.
You could say locked in.
Very locked in. I think that's exactly what I would say about it. Just really focused and locked in to have a really nice performance. This is a game you should win, you're going to win. But you've got to play well. You've got to look good doing it to really have yourself ready for January 1st.
Harris spinning on the freshman, Carroll. Battle for the basketball. It comes down to Gilvin. Good positioning there for Harris, but just couldn't get it to go in.
Harris just needs a little bit of touch there. You'd like to see her have just a little bit of a softer touch, and those shots will go in.
And this double-double proving to be elusive right now for Toni Morgan. Has had a couple of good looks, hasn't been able to finish. 9 points, 10 assists today. They run it to her again. Morgan into the interior, off the side of the backboard. You wonder how many more chances she will get. Most of the starters off the floor right now for Kentucky.
That shot there that doesn't go, just a little bit of fatigue you can see as we're late in the game. Not quite the legs that you had before.
Carroll fouled. Kentucky heading to the free throw line again. That foul went on Pounds. It was her third as you saw Harris come off the floor. Kaylin Carroll with another nice day today. 8 points, 4 rebounds as she steps to the line. Getting some extended playing time with Tiani Key out. Kentucky hoping to get her back as SEC play begins. First matchup against LSU, then you get Missouri. Go on the road once again to Alabama before coming back to HMT to face a Oklahoma team that was a really tall task for Kentucky a season ago. Yeah,
well, this is a team that's really, really good. But you say that about the SEC with everybody. So thought Hodge was going to get that to go. Great energy coming in from the 6'3" sophomore. getting some clock here, coming in, going to make her presence known right away.
That foul went on Kaylin Carroll, putting Michaela Hodge at the free throw line. Sixth appearance of the season, hits the first free throw, and she comes from a long lineage of really good hoopers. I love a good hoop scoop here. Her father, Julius, was the 2004 ACC Player of the Year back at NC State. He's got to be hoping that Will Wade helps turn around this NC State program moving forward, the former LSU head coach. I got to say, just whether it's on the women's side or the men's side, there's just so much good college basketball on TV right now.
Well, listen, there were a couple of days over the holiday break that there weren't any games. I'm like, I can't live like this. We've got to have some. Bring it back. Bring back the basketball. I can't do this. So that's when you know you've got some really good basketball going on. We want to watch anybody, any game. Give me something.
So you weren't watching all the bowl games on TV?
No, listen, some of it is okay. Give me some good basketball. To your point, we've been seeing such good games and such good basketball. I flipped the switch. I'm ready.
Look at Hodge battle inside on Carroll. Called for it. Spins. It won't go. Kentucky with just one starter on the floor. It is Asia Boone. Brooks stepped on the sideline.
I love that, though, with Hodge, making herself available, calling for the ball, being aggressive, trying to make something happen.
Kentucky trying to put the finishing touches on win number 13. It will be their second consecutive year, beginning the season 13-1. Started last year 16-1 before that second loss came all the way in SEC play. Turnover here, leading to a run out. Gilbin off the glass. Brooks punches it out, but right into her home bench. Under a minute remaining here in Lexington. Outside of the disappointment down in Puerto Rico to Maryland, this Kentucky team has done everything they needed to do here in non-conference play.
And I think that's a game they're going to look back on. Maybe not. Maybe I'm the only one that looks back on that and says, man, they just didn't play very well. That's not taking anything away from Maryland. They're a very good basketball team, but Kentucky did not play very well in that game. It was kind of like, hey, that's the one game you got to get out of your system, get it out of the way. But they just didn't play very well and still had a chance to really kind of be in that ball game in some ways. So I think that's one you look back on and you go, man, if we had that to do over again, it would look totally different.
Here's all I've got to say to that, Christy. The past is in the past.
That's
Let it go, right?
I know. I struggle with that sometimes, right? I think I'm this what if? What if you'd played up to your standard and how that should have gone or could have gone? A different story, but that's even in those losses you learn. Even in those losses, you figure some things out. Even when you don't play well, there's a lesson in all of that.
Hodge missed the free throw. Pounds was battling, but it's Kentucky that comes down with it. Boone will bring it across midcourt, and Kentucky will dribble out the waning seconds of this fourth quarter. Kenny Brooks' side 24-2 in non-conference play over the last two seasons. The Cats are 13-1 in SEC play, has officially arrived.
Good stuff for Kentucky. As we mentioned, when you come back from a break, you want that final game to really get your legs going, get that blood pumping. Anything that you've needed to work on, you want to fine-tune, start to really get yourself in a good place mentally, physically, emotionally to play a really, what will be a really tough SEC schedule as you get going. And I think the big silver lining for Kentucky is the fact that they shot the ball so very well. This is a team that did not start out the season shooting the ball very well, and Kenny Brooks had said he wouldn't call this team a three-point shooting team. Then they go on to set some records. They did that 17 threes, hit a school record versus Monmouth back in November. So some things have really happened for this team. Seeing someone like Amelia Hassett really come alive when you know she's an excellent shooter and she's got it in there, and finally seeing her be able to pull that off and really start to play well in the last several games has been great.
Kentucky hits 11 more threes today, 5 of those coming from the hands of Amelia Hassett, who is set to join us courtside here inside historic Memorial Coliseum after Kentucky's big win here in the final game of 2025. Kentucky comes out on top, their 13th win of the season. Amelia, thanks for joining us here on the show. We talked about early on, sometimes it can be challenging to carry the momentum over that Christmas break. You guys come out and do that today.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, we had 2 really good practices. Obviously, coming off a nice break is always good to re-energize and regroup, I guess, and then we just came out strong.
You guys shot the ball so well this afternoon. You specifically shot the ball really well. But what's different from the first of the season to now for you? Obviously, you've got confidence in your shot. This coaching staff has confidence in your shooting, but it's really coming alive now.
Yeah, I think just my teammates, like all the step of the way, my coaches, they know that I can shoot the ball, so that just gives me confidence in my shot.
You see that when you step into a shot, when you can reestablish yourself, when you can regather yourself and shoot, that seems to be where you just know it. When that ball leaves your hands, we just know it's going in. So that there was some of that again today as well too. So, but everybody was shooting the ball really well.
Yeah.
What are you seeing from your teammates as well? Asia Boone is shooting the ball so well. Tony Morgan can knock down 3-point shots. What are you seeing from everybody?
Yeah, I think we're finding each other. We're
Yeah.
understanding where each other can be, and obviously Tony and AB even can play the point guard there. So I think them just finding us in the right spots just makes it so easy to just knock down those shots.
Yeah.
Amelia, non-conference play over, SEC play looming. Why should teams in the SEC be scared of Kentucky?
I mean, we're Kentucky, I guess. Like, I don't know, like we're a really good team. We're not scared of anyone. We're coming, and I think this group is just amazing, so we're excited.
You all seem so efficient today on offense. You know, when you can pass the ball and everybody's scoring, everybody's in on it, when you have just as many assists as you do field goals made, that's got to feel good when you guys are in that rhythm and you know some good things are happening.
Yeah, it does feel good. I mean, coming off this game and going into SEC play off this game, knowing what we can do, and we did get better, and just having that energy, effort, and attitude that Coach Brooks always talks about.
Yeah.
Well, Amelia, thank you. Rest up. The gauntlet looming here, but a great game today as
Thank
Kentucky
you.
comes out on top 13-1 for the second year in a row. Kentucky gets it done here in Lexington, taking down Hofstra. So many great performances all around. So for Christine Thomas, Daniel Gibbons, and the rest of our crew, I'm Noah Prairie saying so long from Lexington. SEC play begins this week.